God looked at him one day and saw him working hard, tending and struggling and doing the garden and making it beautiful. And he says, I can make life a bit easier for this gentleman. He's all alone by himself. So let me make for him a help, meet, suitable, complementary to help him achieve his purpose. That's the reason for marriage. A help to help you achieve your purpose.
When I wanted out, 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 when I wanted out of the relationship.
Hi, welcome again to another episode of the When I Wanted Out talk show. I'm your host, Teleola Kola-Edun. Thank you for joining us on this episode, which I would consider one of my most epic episodes yet. On this one, we're discussing the topic, finding purpose before marriage. And to do a great service to this topic is none other than Pastor Itwa Igudalo. He's a great man that needs no introduction. He's the lead and senior pastor of Trinity House Center, and he happens to be my pastor. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on my show. I appreciate you and the opportunity that you have provided us to learn from you.
Thank you, Tele.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So I've had a couple guests come on the show, and they've talked about purpose, that, while you're waiting for children, pursue your purpose. Before you get married, pursue your purpose, so you know the right person to align with. But we haven't dug so deep on what purpose is and how we find it, and how we find those that actually are drawn to that purpose and align with them as well. So what is your take on purpose? What is it?
Well, I generally say that after your salvation, that is after you commit giving your life to Jesus Christ, the next most important thing is you finding your purpose. Your purpose will protect you. Your purpose will guarantee longevity of your life. Your purpose will give you joy. Your purpose will give you fulfillment. And your purpose will give you enough and more than enough to live on if you discover it. And usually I underpin my thinking and my text from find God, and then God says, before I formed you, I knew you.
Right.
He was talking about Jeremiah, but was talking about everyone, that before you were formed, you were in his mind. And being in his mind, he decided who you were, he wanted you to be, and what he wanted you to become, and what he wanted you to achieve. And then he said to Jeremiah, I ordained you a prophet to the nations from your mother's womb. So no child is an accident or a mistake. One of the things I say is that when you're having sex, God is there watching over that act of sex. And therefore, he finds it very irritating if this act is outside his usual bounds, but he's forced to be there because that baby that's going to be produced is important to him and is forming that baby for a specific purpose. So every person, 7.8 billion of us, have a specific thing to achieve on this earth. So that's number one. But not many people realize that. Everybody just thinks that they were born, they are here, they have to struggle, they have to make money, they have to the usual run and rot of society. But it's a bit more than that. It's a bit more than that. God has created every single person to add value to others and value to this earth, and to just simply make the earth a better place for everyone else. So
Okay.
everybody has a purpose.
Everybody has a purpose. Now, what is the significance of discovering or the benefits? Because I mean, we're talking to those that are in marriages, preparing for marriage. What is the significance or the benefit of discovering this purpose before we get married?
Very, very, very critical. And that is why parents must try to teach and educate their children from age 6 or 12 or whatever, when they begin to prepare them for puberty and marriage, the essence of discovering purpose. It's important because if you want to know the reason for something, you go in the Bible to what we call the first principle or first mention. And the first time marriage was mentioned in the Bible is in Genesis chapter 2, the marriage between Adam and Eve. So marriage again is God's idea. So God had created Adam, put him in the Garden of Eden, giving him a job to tend and look after that garden. That was his purpose, to tend, to look after that garden, to make that garden a much better place, to replenish the earth, to subdue the earth, to turn the garden into a much better place. We're still doing it till today. That's why people go into wasteland, they turn it into a city. Miami, Los Angeles, Dubai, Inagbe, Elashe. People come here and they tend and nurture that garden. That was his purpose. That was the reason why God created him. Then God looked at him one day and saw him working hard, tending and struggling and doing the garden and making it beautiful. And he says, I can make life a bit easier for this gentleman. He's all alone by himself. So let me make for him a help, meet, suitable, complementary to help him achieve his purpose. That's the reason for marriage. A help to help you achieve your purpose. It means that if you don't have purpose, you cannot find that help. So it's like advertising for the MD of MTN or the MD of Starcoms or the MD of Nigerian breweries. There must be 1 or 2 or 3 people who are fit for purpose. Who do you want to be your MD? Tall, broad shoulders, Harvard, Boston, athletic, well-spoken, handsome, ugly, fat, big. There is a job description for that person who can help that company or that individual fulfill their purpose.
That's right.
Yeah. There might be 1 or 2 or 3 people that fit that description, okay, depending on the season, but there are some people that don't at all. It just won't work. It's not that they are bad people. They just don't fit a certain purpose. So what you need in a driver is different from what you need in a pilot, different from what you need in a bartender, different from what you need in an MD. So once you discover your purpose, and this is the direction you are going, then you can find, as you go along that direction, interviewing a few people, that person that is suited for purpose. So Adam conducted an interview, if you read the Bible very well. He says God told him to go and name all the animals, and whatever name he called them, that was the name thereof. So he went to the snake and said, would you be my partner? And he says, no, I slide on the ground, I hiss, I am not capable, no hands. He went to the giraffe. Your neck is too long. It's difficult for you and I to communicate. He went to the elephant. You will crush me if you sit on me. So he went through an interview process. And the Bible says none was found fit and suitable for him. Then God says, I will create one for you. Now that you've exhausted yourself, that's why sometimes men are hunters. They are hunting here and there. It's just that sometimes they don't know what they are hunting for. And they generally think maybe it's pleasure, it's sex, it's beauty, it's that, blah, blah, blah. They're going. But really deep down, they're looking for one that's fit and suitable. And sometimes they don't even have the concept of that person that is fit and suitable, because they themselves don't have their purpose. They don't know what they're set up for.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So that is why purpose is important. If you don't know who you are, where you are going, what you want to achieve, you can't find the right partner.
Misalignment.
Yes. And that's why a lot of marriages are in turmoil, because the lady wants to go this way, the man wants to go this way, the lady wants this kind of life, the man thinks of this kind of life. I have a friend who fell in love with a young girl who was studying law. And she was studying law, he was a businessman, and they were getting on, and then the issue of marriage came, and then he got married, and then asked his wife, oh yeah, come on, get up, let's get you a job. Give corporate law firm, maybe your mother's firm or something, blah, blah. And the girl says she's not interested. I'm not interested. I don't want to go and work in any corporate law firm. The guy was furious. The marriage was threatened. The man was annoyed. I married a lawyer. Get up, wear your bibs and your black, and go and do some corporate work. The girl said, look, I can't even find any firm that I like. I'm not interested. So they were having a bit of a crisis. So I called the girl. I said, what is the problem? She says, the man wants me to work by force. I don't want to work. I want to do business. I want to do children's clothes and children's parties. And the husband says, not on my watch. How dare you? Did I marry a children's clothier? Did I marry a children's party organizer? How are you going to be respectable doing that kind of business? He says, I married a lawyer. The man says, yeah, I was studying law. Why did you study law? My mother told me to study law. I wasn't really thinking of law. All I want to do is organize children's parties. So I was able to help them. I said, Oga, calm down. You thought you were marrying a lawyer, but you actually married a business person. So just change your thinking and accept the personality, and everything will be just fine. So the man had to change his thinking, and then eventually set up a small shop for the girl to be doing her this thing. And he says, no problem, as long as she wakes up in the morning and goes out. So I won't have the privilege of seeing the black and the babes, but it's okay.
So I feel a lot of us struggle though with that, is that initially we go in with the set purpose that, okay, this is what I'm going to achieve with my life, and this is the person. But then there are times where there are hiccups along the way that the person now changes plans. Like, okay, I'm not going to do this thing anymore. And then you don't fit into that person's vision anymore, or we're already married. I actually want to go deeper on that, but I wanted to take a short break, and we would even go deeper even to ask how we discover this purpose. I know you had already initially said the Bible, going back to God, but what are like baby steps to doing that? We'll be right back.
When I wanted out, 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 when I wanted out of the relationship.
Welcome back. We're still on the show with Pastor Itwa Igudalo, and we're talking about purpose and finding your purpose before marriage. So how does one go about discovering this purpose? How long does it usually take to figure it out? What are practical steps? Everybody says, go back to God, go back to God. And I'm like, I have been praying, I've been fasting, I've been, and I don't know what to do in my life. You see young people, they're in university, they don't even know what to study. And then they come out, they're just jumping from one occupation to the next, figuring, I don't like this one, I don't like that one. And so life just keeps going like that. So if we could understand from you, how did you figure out your purpose? And who came in alignment with that?
The mistake that's been made is in our upbringing and being trained. Our parents try to find purposes for us by telling us, do this career, do that career. Sometimes they're making you live their own life.
Yes.
You know, so your father wished he was a doctor, he didn't quite do the medicine, did nursing. Then he says, my daughter must be a doctor, and forces you. And deep down, you're not a doctor. You're a theater major, or you're an English major. Here you are running a TV program. I don't know what you studied. I'm sure you
I did political science and economics.
You see, now here you are running a TV program. How did you come running this TV program? Something inside you kept on telling you that this was a problem to solve. Now, there are 4, 5, 6 things that are important. Number one, what are you passionate about? It's not a mistake that you're passionate about something. So some people are passionate about football, some people are passionate about badminton, some people are passionate about TV production, theater. My daughter dances. She became best dancer in her school, blah, blah, blah. If I'm now going to force her to do medicine, it will be injustice. So now I'm trying to wrap my head around how do I get her to do something great without breaking what is naturally inside her. My son is a scientist. He's always doing an experiment or the other. Comes into my bathroom, picks up my toothpaste, my shaving cream, mixes it. I say, what are you doing? He says, I'm doing an experiment. So I see he has an inquisitive and scientific mind. 2 children, different concepts. So there's something you're passionate about. There's something you like. There's something that comes to you naturally. Your purpose is aligned to that which you are naturally, easily able to do. That's one way. The second way is that there's something you are angry about or disappointed or is a pain point. So you find people doing counseling for marriage because their marriage broke up. You find people anti-abortion because they had a bad abortion experience. You have people, my wife set up an IVF foundation, drove it with aggression because we had child problems with conception. So sometimes it's from your point of pain so God takes you through that pain so that you can also discover your purpose. So something that comes naturally to you, something that you are angry about or is a point of pain and a problem you want to solve, something that you can't stop thinking about. So a lady called me the other day, I want to do a program on sex, I can't stop thinking about it, I'm not married, am I putting it off? I said, no, keep thinking about it, keep working on it, and so on and so forth. So God has already dimensioned you and put into you the various skills and things. Sometimes it comes in a vision. You are dreaming and you keep dreaming about this thing. You keep imagining yourself doing this and doing that. You don't even sure you can do it, but the vision will just not go away. Like the lady who started Sweet Sensation. She just kept on dreaming about cooking. She's an accountant. We did accounting together. And she spent 3, 4, 5, 6 years doing accounting. Then one day she just said, I'm tired of this accounting. What next do I do? So she dreamt about cooking and baking and serving it to people, and she found her purpose. Sometimes somebody who's a bit senior to you, who is more experienced, looks at you, analyzes your character, says, this is what I think you should do. That's what Samuel did to David. Look at David, you've been looking after sheep, you have very good administrative skills, you care about the sheep. If you become king, you will care about the underdogs and the poor people, and so on and so forth. And sometimes some people are privileged to have a divine encounter where you really have an encounter with God and you can hear God, and others are born into their purpose, Sometimes they may not be that well skilled, but from the day they were born, they're indoctrinated, they're told, they're listening like Prince Charles, who waited many years to become King Charles, couldn't think of any other thing, blah, blah, blah. That basic is the fundamental of purpose. Sometimes you stumble into it, seemingly, like Saul. You are busy looking for sheep or donkeys, then you have an encounter. I say, God, this is a Rema. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Okay.
But what if my purpose does not generate income? What I believe I have passion for, So say the lady now that was going to do the event planning for children, the husband believes that would not fetch her as much money or whatever as if she was a corporate lawyer. So as a parent, you also gave the example of your daughter loving dance and theater and arts. So how is it now for some people? They're like, what I'm very passionate about, what I believe is my purpose, can't fetch me anything in this income. How do I cope?
What is income? How much money does a man need? That's the starting point. You have clothing, you can feed, you can sleep somewhere that's reasonable. What is most important is contentment. But the truth is that every purpose successfully discovered will bring with it all it needs for you to live a fulfilled life. That is the truth.
Right.
That is the truth.
That's right.
And that is the absolute truth. And I'll tell you a true story if we have time.
Yes, sir, we have time.
I'm an accountant. I was training up accountants. I got an office in Port Harcourt. Got a beautiful girl to run the office. I was paying her decently well. And then one day she said she was resigning. I said, how can you resign? Finish, I can do this. She said, no, I'm resigning. I said, so what are you going to do? She says, I'm going to be baking cakes. And I fell on my chair. I said, how can cake making be good?
Vis-a-vis an accountant.
Be real. She said, that's what she wants to do. I said, how did you start? She said, well, Christmas time, I baked a cake. My husband's friends came. They ate it. They liked it. They ordered more. They ate it. They liked it. The next time they came, I said, pay. To my surprise, they paid. And they paid me good money. So I started baking cakes. So I got a bit ticked off, a bit irritated. I said, okay, that's what you want. But still, in your spare time, look after the shop until I find a replacement. About 6 or 9 months or almost a year later, she called me. And I was expecting her to say, please, I want my job back. My cake has failed. I said, how are you? She said, Ogami, I'm fine. How is life? Ogami, I'm doing great. My heart fell. I said, great. I said, cake making, how is it? She said, it's fantastic. I said, how much are you making? She says, 5 times what you are paying me. She's still baking cakes today. Making good money. Because if it's your purpose, you'll be good at it. If you are good at it, people will come and look for you. And they're ready to pay
for the value.
For the value.
Yeah.
That's the principle of purpose. But the key is that you must tie it to something that makes God happy and benefits men. That's the difference between ambition and purpose. Ambition rides on purpose. You are ambitious about something. You want to be president of Nigeria. You feel it in your bones. No problem. But why? That's where the purpose now kicks in. Why?
Why?
Do you want to be president?
Why?
Well, of course I want to be president because I want the
people
people around me and everybody tying my shoe, carrying my bag, blah, 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 blah. Okay, no problem. God put that ambition in you.
Yeah.
But not for people to carry your bag. For you to serve the people and make their lives better.
It must be tied back to serving God and enhancing the lives of people.
That's the end. You discover purpose. You play football to serve God and to entertain. And with your football, you preach a gospel that life can be better and simpler. Like the guy who came from Cameroon or wherever, went back to his village with the proceeds of football and transformed the village. Other people are buying Lamborghini and Rolls Royces and building houses in France, blah, blah, blah. When they get to 60, they have a heart attack, they have a problem, they can't walk again. They're wondering what happened. It happened because you are not useful to anybody, only to yourself. Your diamonds cannot pay school fees. Your gold rings cannot help a man in hospital. And you don't need them anyway because they have really no value. The value is only in your mind. But if you play your football to entertain, to show them that Jesus did this, to show them that God is good, to show them God can protect, and you use the proceeds of that football to help other people, God is duty-bound to make you happy.
That's great. Thank you very much, Sam. So I would like to wrap up this episode by asking what advice you have to single people that are looking to settle down. That's one. And to those who are married that are going through hell and high water.
Two very good questions. I hope I pass your exam. Single people is simple. Before you get married, discover your purpose. Learn how to discover your purpose. Go back to God, your passion, the various steps. You might even need to do some trial and error before you finally land on it. And please start from age 15 or 16. And you parents start to look at what your children are really interested in and capable to do and shape them. And you must have that relationship with God because God is the manufacturer who manufactured you can somehow set you up to discover purpose. By the time you are 22, 23, 24, you should be settled into purpose if you have been thinking about it, not thinking about getting a job, marrying a handsome husband, having a beautiful house, and all the things that young girls or young boys tend to think of. No, that's the benefits of purpose. That's not the reason why you are created. You are not created just to get a job. You are created to get a job that will suit you, your job, your career, not just this and that. Your career, your job. So a lot of people are working in McDonald's, Kentucky, blah, blah, blah. You can see they're unhappy, But sometimes you need a transit camp towards where you're going.
Right.
And you need to understand that this is a transit camp. This is not where I am going, but I need to pass through this path to get to where you're going. So you keep setting your sights on. Then the Jewish have a custom. Before you marry somebody, you have a marriage contract. Okay? That contract, the gentleman draws up and his family draws up the contract. They tell the girl's family, this boy is a soldier, this boy is ambitious, this boy is going to be a king. They just tell you what they see of the future and where this gentleman is going. Is he a Levite? Is he a soldier? Is he a farmer? Is he a shepherd? This is the kind of lifestyle. This is his purpose, is what they say. Now, young girl, Mary, this is the purpose of Joseph. Does it align with your purpose? Joseph, Gabriel says, this is the purpose of Mary. You want to marry her. Are you going to cope with her, carrying a baby for the Holy Spirit, and then being foster father to that baby? Are you ready to help Mary fulfill her purpose? And Joseph was worried. This is not what I was thinking about. But by the time he reprogrammed his mind, it is not such a bad idea. I think I have the temperament, the love, the compassion, the understanding to carry this burden. Both sides must do that exercise and be as truthful as possible. It's possible that it changes along the way for one reason or the other, but you'll find that if genuinely they discovered it ab initio, the change will not be totally out of whack. You understand? It might go this way or that way, but it's tolerable. Now, if you have gotten yourself in that marriage and you just find that you are totally of divergent purposes, the first thing is to be mature about it and really find out the problem. A lot of people, they deal with the palliatives, they deal with the side things. He doesn't talk to me. Symptoms. Thank you. Symptoms is the word I was looking for. Not the
core, the root of the
problem.
problem.
The root of the problem. The real root of the problem is that they're both different people pursuing different dreams, going in different directions. No problem. We could have been better off as friends and companions and just relatives and all that. We were attracted. The beauty attracted us. The body attracted us. We liked one or two things. We thought that was it. But it's a bit deeper than that. What do we do? Would you then please allow me to live my life while I allow you to live your life, and we're not quarreling about it, and find areas where we can work together? Possible.
And if there is none?
If not, none. Then you live your life, let me live your life. It's true the Bible doesn't believe in divorce and all that, but I am a realist and I'm very, very practical about it, okay? Otherwise, one of the partner will pay the sacrifice of the other's purpose, okay? Maybe deny themselves of their own purpose.
And then resentment.
Well, they then have to learn not to be resentful.
They have to be okay with it.
They have to be okay with it and settle into that life and then help that other person to fulfill their purpose and sacrifice their own. They may not get ultimate fulfillment, but they may get a bit of peace and contentment and just manage and say, this is the cost of mistake.
Wow. I think on that note, because it's very tough pill to swallow. When you know someone would have to sacrifice purpose if they didn't do the homework before. One person will sacrifice, and most often than not, it's the woman.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Well, what I say is, it's the one that's more spiritually mature.
That would have
That
to.
will have to. And then somehow, God, being a merciful God, will compensate that person.
I believe you.
Yes.
I believe you, sir.
If you really believe in God.
I believe
And
you.
God has seen that, Kai, I made a mistake. Oh my goodness. But because of my respect of God and the institution, I will bear my mistake. I will tolerate it. I will bring peace in the house. I'll pay the sacrifice. And God will say, okay, all things will work together for good, for those that trust God, for those that believe in Him. And then it might seem like it was out of whack, but it's not over until it's over.
Wow.
God, if He's a just God, will somehow make it
recompense
you. And I've seen it happen before.
Thank you
Many
very
times.
much, sir. It just gave me a certain level of peace, calm, and hope that not all is lost. It is not over unless God says it's over. Thank you very much. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. There's so much we can learn from Pastor Itwa, and we look forward to calling him on any other issues that we have. Please feel free to let me know offline whatever questions you'd like to ask him, and we'll see how we can get answers from him. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode. Look forward to seeing you same time next week.